Hello everyone, how are you doing? It's Miss Strategy aka Anna, me, back on Chess 24 with my Banter Blitz shows. Please let me know if the video is working this time because I'm trying my best to stream. Do let me know. Yay, it's working! Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm gonna repeat everything I've said earlier when no one was watching. I have been away for a while. I guess you guys have seen it. You might have realized that I wasn't streaming, and that's because I wasn't at home. I was mainly at the Isle of Man International, where I met this amazing lady, my best friend Sopika Gramishvili. She was playing in the Isle of Man tournament together with her husband Anish Giri, and the whole event was fascinating. Did you guys follow it? Now another fascinating event is coming up, and you definitely are looking forward to it as much as I am. It is the World Championship match. Game 1 will be on Friday already, and of course there will be coverage here on Chess 24 as well by the same lady that I have just showed you. Sopiko is going to team up with Peter Svidler to bring you the latest news on the World Championship match. I myself will be involved in some way that you might figure out from my social media. But without further ado, let's jump in and play some Banter Blitz games, because that's why you are here, so that you challenge me for Blitz and I go for the banter and the blunders. 5 minute plus increment is my favorite time control. Please just make sure you use increment. 3 plus 2 is also better than nothing. And of course, premium members always enjoy the priority status, that I see them more on the list than other users. That's just the thing about being premium. I'm gonna abort my game with Claudia, even though she's my favorite opponent, you all know it, and I'll see who has challenged me already. So 5 plus something would be great if you can challenge me for that. I'm gonna try to see users who I haven't played against recently. And it can be rated, unrated, I don't mind that. Just please make sure that it's with increment. Okay, I think I have accepted the first game. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we've got the first game. I'm playing with the white pieces and I'm gonna go e4. My opponent, Onam from Spain. Hola, ¿qué tal? He's playing the Pirc defense or the Philidor if he wants to transpose. You know that he can. Now after e5, we can transpose to the Philidor, or with g6, what he played. This is the Pirc defense. I'm just gonna go for some very solid setup with knight f3, bishop e2, the boring way of handling it. Normally, oh, c5, so we are transposing to kind of a Sicilian. I'm gonna take and see if he wants to take back. No, he's sacrificing a pawn. Interesting, he's threatening knight takes e4 because of this pin. So if c takes d6, he's gonna go knight takes e4. Okay, I'm just gonna castle and he can take the pawn on c5 with the queen. What? I have just castled. Did he pre-move knight takes e4? Because this is a piece up for me. Onam, don't pre-move. No, it wasn't the pre-move, and now he resigned. Now that was a quick game. Onam, I'm so sorry for your loss, but knight takes e4 is only possible if my king is on e1. Pay attention to the last move of your opponent. I have moved my king away from the pin. So of course queen a5 is a strong move, and you played very well up until this moment, but knight takes e4 is only possible with the king here. So if I play bishop to d2 or castle kingside, then please don't take the pawn. I'm gonna go for the next game. And Onam, I'm sure that we will play in the future as well, and you will take more care of your pieces. So thank you for the game, and challenge me in the future, because I will give you another chance. Maybe not in the next session, because I don't know when is the next session. I will be away again, but challenge me in the future and I will give you another chance. Let's see another challenge. Let's go for someone else that I haven't played against recently. Oh, I'm doing anything but moving the list properly. Okay, another challenge with increment, please. I see many challenges without increment, and that's just not my kind of thing, because I want to be instructive. I need to be talking a lot in order to do that. So I need more time. I need increment. I know that most Banter Blitz players don't ask for increment, but I'm slow. I'm playing against Graf von Pahlen from Germany. And he starts with d4. I'm gonna play knight f6 and e6. Oh, did I move the board slightly? Thank you so much. Apologies for that. I didn't mean to ruin the aesthetics of this stream. Should be better now. Thank you for reminding me, Ollie. I'm gonna go e6 as announced, and then c5 normally, depending on what my opponent plays. Or if c4, now we have reached the Queen's Indian defense, and that should be with b6. Bishop b4 check would have been the Bogo Indian defense. Now I haven't played these openings for ages, so I'm just gonna make up things. a3 is one of the main lines, but I don't remember that much the variation. I know that bishop a6 is interesting in some positions, so I'm gonna go for these sidelines. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm gonna go d5, and if he takes, I can trade on f1 first. If queen a4 check, I'm not so scared because I have queen d7. Queen c2, defending the pawn, but now if I want, I can trade. Do I want to trade now or wait one move? So I'm thinking whether d takes c4, or I'm gonna wait one move, play bishop e7 for instance, and see if my opponent wants to take on d5. I have those two options. Yeah, let's see if he wants to take. And if he does not, he shall develop his pieces in a way that might lose a tempo. So he has moved the bishop, and now that he has moved the bishop, it makes a lot more sense for me to take on c4, because it took him 2 moves to get the bishop to c4. You see what I mean. Queen takes c4, and now one of my first thoughts was queen d5. That gives up the c7 pawn, but maybe it's an interesting pawn sacrifice. Could be interesting with knight a6, rook c8, if I have already castled. So I'm gonna castle first, and then I might play that in the future, or just simply c5, which should be a normal move. Otherwise, I could suffer, so I really need to do something here quickly. Shall I give up the pawn? Am I brave? Yeah, why not be brave? I normally don't play like that, but yeah, let's do this. Queen takes c7, knight c6. I have some compensation, I feel like. Oh, he doesn't want the pawn. Okay, you see, it was worth being brave. He was scared of me. Now I can play c5 comfortably, knight c3, I'm gonna drop back to b7. I have free unchatted my queen. Then, next step will be to develop this knight and the rest of the pieces, that is, the rooks. This knight could go to d7 or to c6. Those are the 2 main squares, of course. Which one is better here? I feel like knight d7 is more harmonious, because then I can jump with the other knight to d5, and the d7 knight might come to f6. Oh, can I draw arrows? No, I can't. I thought I could draw, but no, I can't. e4 makes perfect sense, opens the diagonal of the bishop, controls the center, and now I need to make a decision. Will I allow e5 simply? Will I want to take on d4? Shall I just develop the b8 knight? Those are the main questions. I think I'm not scared about e5 because I have the d5 square for the knight, so I'm just gonna develop this knight. Now that he has pushed e4, though, I might consider knight c6 to put pressure on the d4 pawn. Knight c6, d takes c5. There I can take back with the pawn or with the bishop. Let's do this. Knight d7, of course, still made a lot of sense. But I just thought I want to challenge his center. He can play either e5 or bishop e3. d5 as well is an option. Bishop g5. Plenty of moves he can consider. Okay, bishop g5, then I'm going to take on d4. So he has to do something about this immediate threat of mine. Knight takes d4 or c takes d4. That's what I'm curious about. What will he play? Bishop e3, e5, d5. D takes c5. If d takes c5, bishop takes c5 would be the natural move, but that allows b4. Okay, he played d5, so now I'm gonna need some calculation. If I take on d5, I think he wants to take back with the e pawn so that he opens the e file for the queen and he will have a passed pawn on d5. If I don't capture it though, the next move, e5, knight takes d5, yeah, it's still okay. I can play, for instance, knight d4, and then if he takes on d4, c takes d4, his knight is hanging. If he moves the knight, I can take on d5. Did you guys follow it? Or I can take on d5 first, but then he might take back with the knight actually. E takes d5, knight takes d5. So if knight takes d5, e takes d5. I just feel like this d5 pawn could be vulnerable. Which one is the best move order? That is the question. Let's start like this, because why not? But if I had more time, if it was a classical game, I would have spent more time in that moment after d5, because I think it was a critical moment. In a blitz game, you can't afford to think for 10 minutes and calculate which one is the best move order. I think this was important to decide whether e takes d5 or knight d4. My intuition said knight d4, that's why I chose it. Not that I had time to calculate much. I just told you that the d5 pawn will be hanging. That is my main calculation about. So if knight b5, yes, he's attacking my pawn on d4, but I'm also attacking his pawn on d5. So knight b5, e takes d5, knight takes d4, or e5 and then knight takes d4. I think that's what's going to happen. He can play e5 and then take on d4. That would have left me with an isolated pawn. Oh, now he's giving me an extra pawn. This is surprising. I can take on e4 both with the knight or with the pawn. I think he should have played e5 first and then take on d4. Yes, he has some attack for the pawn that he has given up, but it shouldn't be too much. Let's not get mated, Anna. Let's not get mated. I'm gonna give you the bishop if you want, because the knight on f5 is very strong, so I would rather trade it. I'm gonna allow this trade. Maybe not this way, because now if he takes, queen takes, yes, still I can allow it. Or shall I play knight d5 and try to trade? Knight d5, he takes on e4, my pawn. Bishop takes g5 then. Okay, that can't be. So, knight d5, I'm threatening to take the bishop on g5. If he takes on e7, I'm gonna take back with the knight and I'm protecting the pawn. Oh, but in the end I have knight d6, I blundered. So knight d5, bishop takes e7, knight takes e7, knight d6, fork. That's the way to blunder, Anna. Don't do that. Yeah, I am talking to myself now. Okay, this is a bit unpleasant. What about queen d7 to attack this knight and just force him do something? I think I'm gonna go for this. Well, queen d5 is the other option. Queen d5, but then he takes on e7 and he takes on f6. No, queen d7. Okay, let's try. If bishop takes f6, queen g4, he is threatening to win my queen with knight h6 check. So I will need to step away with the king or protect my queen. I'm not gonna blunder my queen that way. I might blunder it in another way, but not this way. Now, my idea was to take back with the queen, so that bishop f6, queen f6 I still have. That's why I didn't play queen d5, that was the big difference. And yes, it is a pin, but next move I can play queen e6, so I think I'm doing fine here. Okay, he's coming to the open file, makes perfect sense. I'm gonna play h6, attack the bishop and also open the back rank, because you don't want to get a back rank mate. It can happen anytime to anyone. Just open up the back rank in case. If bishop takes, I'm gonna go queen f6. If bishop h4, I think I'm just gonna move my queen away from the pin. Rook c8 is another option, but I feel like my pawn will be too vulnerable. Anyway, I might do this first. Oh no, I'm blundering my pawn. I'm gonna win back the b2 pawn though. Rook takes c8, queen, rook takes c8, bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, queen takes e4, queen takes b2. I get the pawn back. So it's not too bad. But yeah, my first intuition was just to move the queen away from the pin instead of rook c8, but I didn't like rook c7. He could have then played rook to c7. Now he either takes on f6 or plays rook e1. If rook e1, I might need to come back to the e5 with the rook to protect my extra pawn. You know, I like having more material on the board, so I'm not going to just easily give it back to my opponent. This is my pawn up. Okay, conquering the open file, that makes perfect sense. Queen e5, if he takes on f6, queen takes f6, queen takes e4, queen takes b2. Still okay, I believe, so I'm gonna do that. If he wants to do something like f3, oh, bishop g3, that I didn't expect. I can go queen e6 for instance. Oh, I don't have much time. Yeah, maybe I should pay more attention to my clock. Okay, how to play? Okay, he has a check. Rook d8 check is possible, but I can play king h7, so he's not winning my queen. That is under control. Will he play that? I'm curious. He didn't. Let's come here. I think I'm losing a bit of control of the game because I don't like not having time, and I have 15 seconds with, I think it's 2-second increment. Okay, let's come back. Bishop e5 is a good move here. We might end up in a rook endgame. I'm gonna come here. He can take on f6 and the e4 pawn, but I'm gonna cash in on b2. I'm gonna take that pawn. Yeah, my pawn structure on the king side is not very nice, but I will still be a pawn up. Maybe he shall do something else. b4, but then I go rook a2. I will be attacking those queenside pawns. I want one of those pawns. I want either the b or the a pawns. And then I will be okay giving up the e4 pawn, because I can't keep this e pawn. I should have pre-moved. I haven't pre-moved today yet at all. That's a mistake. I should pre-move more, right? You guys know that sometimes I manage. Sometimes I even make pre-moves. Not very often though. Okay, I could have played a4 first. That would have been a better move. a4 was a better move, clearly, because then I would have won the pawn on a3. I'm not gonna take his pawn just yet. I can take it anytime. So I'm gonna try to activate my king. Not so easy, because the f7 pawn will also be hanging, but I prefer to give up the f7 pawn and not the b6 pawn. So here I come, he can take on f7, but I'm gonna take this and I have connected pass pawns. This position is winning. I can now come back because those two pawns on the queen side will win without my king's help. This is actually quite an easy endgame. Okay, I say easy. It's easy when you have time on the clock. When you don't have time, it's not as simple. But I still should be able to do it. If rook c5, I'll come back to the b file. You just need to push them in a way that you don't blunder them. So make sure that you don't blunder them. Anything else is easy. You see, you always push the one that's... Okay, and I'm gonna go here and promote the pawn. So you always push the pawn that's not attacked by the rook. Very simple. Oh shoot, I didn't see that he has a check. I pre-moved earlier. What's going on? Anyway. Hope I'm not getting mated. He still has a check. Oh, whoa. Oh, what? I thought I pre-moved king g4 because I thought he would play rook b5. You see, this is how I pre-move. Here I almost... Okay, I wasn't going to lose on time, but in this position, I had my mouse on king g4. I had the mouse on this move and he played rook takes b4, so my move was going to be illegal and I lost a couple of seconds because I had the mouse prepared for king takes g4. But anyway, this part of the game wasn't so exciting. It was exciting earlier. Thank you for the game, Graph. I think you played well. I think it was a tough game. Here, in the opening, if you want, you can try to take this pawn. I don't think that it was so scary. I would have played knight c6, but I can't really win your queen. I am threatening bishop d6 or rook c8, but you might just come back now to g3. And if I play bishop d6, queen g5. So I don't think I have a way to trap your queen. Yes, I have some counterplay. I would have played for perhaps knight a5, threatening knight b3. I think there is counterplay for the sacrificed pawn, but it shouldn't be too bad for white. Knight d2 to prevent knight b3. So if you want to be greedy, you can do this. Now, what you have played in the game should also make sense. Queen e2. What went wrong later? Oh, I know. Here, the complications. So I was telling you guys that if it was a classical game, I would have spent quite a lot of time in this moment because I think it's critical whether you take on d5 first or you play knight d4. In a blitz game, you don't have time to calculate everything in depth, so I calculated a very little and I went for knight d4. This should have been only a trade of pawns because after e takes d5, I think white can simply play e5, attacking my knight, and next move is knight takes d4. Even if I attack this, I mean I can't because the bishop is hanging. I can't do this. If I move the knight, let's say knight e4, now you take on d4 and I'm not a pawn up. So that was mainly the moment where you made a mistake, Graph, that here, when I take on d5, you took on d4 immediately and allowed the capture on e4. So I'm a pawn up, and even though I had some technical difficulties and then I had no time on the clock, a pawn up is a pawn up. So don't give me a pawn up because I like having extra material. I think you should play e5 and then take on d4. That's my conclusion. Next game. Were there any other questions? Anyway, if it's not about the game, then I can't focus on those questions because, you know, I also have a Twitch channel, and on Twitch I am more of a reacting to the comments, talking to you guys, but we have decided that on Chess24 my Banter Blitz show is about being instructive and teaching you as much as I can about the position. So please don't come now with questions that are not related to the game, because that is for my Twitch channel. That's how you can interact with me on Twitch. Here on Chess24 I'm doing a serious Banter Blitz show that is about talking chess and only chess, and during the game only about the position. So please respect that. I'm gonna go for the next challenge, and I think I know my next opponent if I did click well. Hello Benjamin! Welcome back to the show. Benjamin was my first ever Twitch subscriber, so always great to see you here, Benjamin, on Chess24 as well. He plays d4. And the other time when we played, Benjamin was too kind. He sacrificed a lot of material, or he gave it up on purpose. I think it was on purpose because Benjamin is a gentleman. Benjamin, I'm telling you, this time don't give me extra material because I like that. I like having free stuff. I have free stuff emotes on my Twitch channel. If you guys follow me there, you know it. I'm just gonna go for a very similar setup with the bishop coming to b7 and the other to e7, sort of a hedgehog. Hedgehog will be with d6, a6 of course. Bishop e7, I can play d6 later or d5, but now that the bishop is on b7, I think d6 is more flexible. Castle kingside and knight to d7, that kind of setup. Okay, now after bishop d3, white is able to push e4, so I need to consider whether I'm scared of that or not. Let's say I'm not scared. If I'm not scared, how shall I get ready for that move? Shall I play d6, knight d7? That could make sense. Or if I want to prevent d4, then I shall push d5. These are my options. Let's go d6. Although I think normally I would have wanted to prevent it, but I believe this will create a more exciting game, this kind of pawn structure, and not a symmetrical one with d5. I think next move will be e4. Shall I do something about that right now or not? I can play knight d5 for instance. Bishop g3, take on d4. I don't know if that makes so much sense, but since it looks interesting, I'm gonna go for it. It looks interesting. I'm sure that knight d7 or castle was more logical and more natural, but I want to create an exciting position, so I decided knight d5 and then I'm gonna take on d4. That's my idea. Not that it's a big idea, but I'm trying to confuse my opponent. And look, Benjamin is not scared of giving up the pair of bishops. Okay, I'm gonna accept it. I'm gonna take your bishop. I know I can't castle, so yes, Benjamin is gaining something. With the lack of the knight from f6, I cannot castle, so it makes sense. And now, next move, maybe after knight d7 he can push f5. Ooh, careful, Anna. Let's just go g6 then. I'm gonna prevent that, and I can castle next move. But it's a very, very interesting idea, Benjamin, that you gave me the bishop on f4. And this doubled f pawns, if he can push f5, then it would have been good for white. I'm playing a6 so that in case of a5 I can push b5. Ooh, b4, look at this. Now Benjamin is attacking on the queen's side. Okay, I think I can deal with that. I'm gonna take here and then develop my knight, because I like to develop with a tempo. In case of b5, I either take or play knight a5, and then the rook comes to the c file. Interesting ideas. Benjamin, you're playing in a very aggressive way. If he doesn't attack, okay, he plays b5, but if he didn't play that, I would have gone bishop f6. That's all I wanted to announce. Actually, instead of knight a5, a lot better move is knight b4. I can take now the other bishop. I like having the pair of bishops. Of course, it always depends on the position. So in this case, it could well be that the knights will be okay, because it's not such an open position. I can decide not to take the bishop on d3. For instance, push a5, strengthen this knight on b4. That makes sense too, because I'm threatening rook c8, so I'm gonna wait with the capture. I might capture that bishop later. Oh, look, there's another move I didn't see earlier. Knight e5, and then I can take on f4. Shall I be greedy? Shall I be this greedy? Oh my, it's so difficult not to be greedy. a5 for sure is a strong move as well. Maybe a5, bishop e4, but then I take and rook c8. Okay, Anna, don't be that greedy. But I think knight d5 was a very tempting move, and I'm fighting against myself. Anna, the greedy Anna, would have played knight d5 and knight takes f4, and she would have been a pawn up. The other Anna thought, maybe I can do more than that, and the more could be this. I'm gonna take on e4. Oh, he's gonna take back with the rook though. Maybe I'm not winning material this way, but I have very active pieces. So yeah, I was fighting with these two factors. What is more important to me, material up or the initiative? I chose the initiative, but maybe it will not turn out as well as I expected. I'm gonna take on e4. If he takes with the knight, then rook c8 and knight c2. So he has to take with the rook. After rook takes e4, I will still play rook c8, I think. Oh no, he's stepping into it. Benjamin, I'm announcing it. Rook c8 and next move knight c2. Fork. That's why I didn't play knight d5 immediately, because I wanted my knight on b4 so that I can play knight c2. I think the only move for white was rook takes e4. That protects the f4 pawn and also steps out of the fork. You can challenge me whether it's rated, unrated, I don't really mind. But please challenge me with increment, that's the only requirement here. And if you're a premium member, even better. Oh no, Benjamin, it says that you have disconnected. Don't go anywhere, please. I know that you didn't want to step into this, but it's still a game. I know that you didn't do it on purpose, Benjamin. I know that. The queen moves away, knight c2, and I'm gonna pick up one of the rooks. His knights are still active, so this knight on e4 could cause me some problems. It's not a clear-cut, very much winning position, but I will be an exchange up, and I like extra material. Oh no! Benjamin failed to reconnect. Benjamin! Okay. In all fairness, the position should be winning for black, but I didn't mean to win immediately because it's still a game. I would still need to convert it, so the queen should go somewhere. Let's say queen b3, knight c2. The rook's gonna move. I'm gonna take the rook. You take back. It's an exchange up for black, but I still need to win it. I think I would want to use the c file, queen c7, and next move queen c2 or queen c4. So it's a very nice position. It should be a winning position for black. I'm convinced it's winning, but it's still some technique. It takes some time to win it. Oh no, you don't see the board again. I'm so sorry. Oh, you don't see the letters. Okay, I thought I was cutting the squares as well. Apologies. Okay, Benjamin, if you are back, it was nice to play against you, and I think you did very well for a while. I'm telling you that in the moment when I take on e4, take back with the rook, so that there's no fork. It's a multi-purpose move. After rook c8, there's no fork with knight c2, and if I play knight d5, which was my other idea, this pawn is already defended. I can't really attack it with f5 because the e6 pawn is hanging as well. If I play d5, I'm taking away the square from my knight. So the other way to play as black was to be greedy. And this is the moment where I was telling you I have two options, and I like both. Okay, I have three. Knight takes d3 was my first thought, but that's the most simple for white. You just take back, and that's a normal position. a5 is challenging, I think, so I'm happy with that decision. The other very nice move was knight d5. The queen has to go somewhere. And I'm taking this pawn. It's an extra pawn. And I didn't go greedy for the first time in my life. I don't know how I resisted. I think this should be... Yeah, of course this should be very good. Maybe it's even better than a5. And I still have some initiative. Bishop e4. Bishop takes, knight takes. The knight is nice on f4, but it's the only piece I have so active, so that's why I was hesitating. I think both knight d5 and a5 make sense. Maybe this is better than what I played in the game, but you can never know, because in the game against Benjamin, a5 worked out better. I won an exchange 2 moves later, so you never know which move works better in a game. Let's go for the next challenge, if there's no question about it. And I think Benjamin has some technical problems with his internet or with his computer. I hope you will be back, Benjamin, and you can replay this part, because I really thought that you played a good game, you just missed this knight c2 idea. I'm gonna go for another game with increment, of course. My opponent is King Wang. Is the board okay? Oh no, I'm cutting again. Give me a second. I'm gonna fix this. Looks nicer, right? Yay! I'm gonna play the French defense. How surprising! Did you guys see in the Isle of Man tournament how many times a strong player couldn't face the French? Aronian didn't know what to do against it in his game against Samuel Savian. I mean, not that he didn't know what to do against it, but he didn't get an advantage. That's what I mean. Vichy Anand played against Robert Hess, and Robert went for the French defense. Even though I told him not to do it, he did it. And he played a very good game. He was a pawn up and then 2 pawns up in the endgame. So the French defense did very well in the Isle of Man. I was surprised. I was surprised that it does well against elite players. It's winter time here already, I feel like. Even in Spain, you can see the sweater weather, and I got a slight cold. But apart from that, it's sunny, so I can't complain. I can't complain. How's the weather where you are from? And where's everyone from? I like to know that in the chat. I know that I should be talking about the moves, but now it's not my turn. So I have a moment to ask you guys, where are you from and how is the weather there? Oh no, Benjamin, it suddenly didn't let you move and then said that you disconnected and the game ended. Oh no. I'm so sorry for that, Benjamin. We shall play another time, especially if you're around on Twitch when I stream, although I'm traveling again tomorrow, so I won't be in my home studio for a while. Follow my social media, everyone, if you want to know what I'm up to. What am I up to? Ooh, e takes d5, interesting. He can transpose that to some kind of an exchange, French with isolated pawn structure. If I take back with the pawn, I can consider knight takes d5. Yeah, why not knight takes d5 or queen takes d5 too. Who's learning karate? Or you mean Benjamin? Yeah, his profile picture is a karate picture, I believe. I don't know how to do any kind of martial arts, unfortunately. I wish I knew. Sometimes it could come handy. Not at chess, hopefully not at chess. But yeah, why not? I'm just gonna castle. I was looking at knight c6 as well, but castling is always good. Now knight c6, and then b6, bishop b7. Looks normal. Looks like a normal setup. He takes on c5, I'm gonna take back with the bishop. Knight e4, logical. I'm coming back to e7 to protect the g5 square. Although he has 3 pieces to come to g5, he can play whatever he wants, like knight g5, or take on d5 if he wants to isolate my pawn, but that will mean giving up his bishop for it. Bishop g5. Interesting. That will lead to multiple trades. I can take on g5 and then play h6. One of my ideas. Yeah, let's do that. The other was h6 immediately, but then after bishop takes e7, I need to think whether queen e7 or knight takes... If knight takes which knight? So this is somewhat more simple. Taking on g5 and then pushing h6. I'm just gonna wait and chill. h6. I have more time on the clock for the first time in months. I normally don't have much time on the clock because I speak a lot. Shall we make our first pre-move in this game? I feel like it's pre-move time. I couldn't pre-move in the previous game, so maybe I shall. Maybe I shall pre-move soon. Who knows? Who knows? In Jiu-Jitsu, I'm telling you guys, I don't know any martial arts. Oh, sacrificing a piece. Okay, now things are heating up. H takes G5. Knight takes G5, threatening Queen H7 mate, but I have Knight F6, defending the H7 square and attacking his queen. So let's calculate something else. H takes G5. Bishop takes D5 to eliminate the defender. And if I take back on D5, then Knight takes G5, and I don't have Knight F6. But if I take back on D5 with the E pawn, I'm gonna have Bishop to F5 protecting the H7 square. I think that's something that my opponent might have missed. Oh, he takes back immediately with the Knight. I'm just gonna play Knight F6. He must have missed this. He must have missed this. Sometimes you can do this. Queen H4, and then if you have another knight, if he still had a knight on C3 or a bishop that could attack the F6 knight, then this would still make sense. Without the knight on C3 or a bishop coming to the long diagonal, I don't think that I'm gonna be in trouble. But having said that, I need to think how to develop my pieces. I'm a piece up for a pawn, that's what I was going to say. But I still have some issues to solve. So I'm gonna try and attack this bishop first, because I want more pieces around my king. I feel like I need Knight G6, attacking the queen, just to try to chase the queen away from the H5, because yes, I am protecting the H7 square, but that's not forever. So I wanna play Knight G6, and if Queen H3, I'm gonna go E5 later. Yes, this move is good because it's attacking the queen, so I can't just take the bishop, but I'm alright moving the queen away. For instance, to C7. Why not? Attacking the bishop now twice, so it is actually hanging. Where's my voice? Where's my voice? Okay, after bishop b3, as announced, I'm gonna play Knight G6 and try to chase that queen away. Not just that I lost my voice, but also my ability to pronounce words properly. Queen H3, I can play either E5 or Queen F4. I think I like Queen F4 more, attacking the knight, and next move could be Queen G4 or Queen H4. I like my position, it's a piece up, and I am not getting mated. So yeah, great stuff. Otherwise, where else can the queen go? Not many squares. Queen D4, I'm gonna go Queen F4 still. I like this position. So, as announced, Queen F4, attacking the knight. I think it's very important that even when you have material up, but your opponent has got the initiative, especially an attack around your king, you still need to deal with that attack. So just because I was a piece up, I couldn't just make normal moves and sit on my piece up. No, you need to play active and try to initiate trades, especially the trade of the queens. That's what I'm about. I'm gonna go Queen G4 or Queen H4 because I'm a piece up, and that piece up will show a lot in an endgame. It's not gonna show if I get mated. So pay attention to that. Always make sure that you care about your king. Even if your opponent's attack doesn't look very scary, it's better to be active and prevent any kind of attack before it happens. So there was nothing concrete going on about my king. There was no Queen H7, there was no piece attacking the F6 knight. Still, I decided to start moving my pieces toward the king side because it's better, I'm telling you from experience, it's better to deal with the threat before it's even on the board. So, prophylaxis, deal with it before it's even existing. Now I'm just gonna trade queens as announced, and I'm enjoying this position with an extra piece. Why did I not pre-move? Now this was a clear mistake. I told you guys that I'm gonna make a pre-move, and this was my opportunity for a pre-move. It would have been a nice pre-move. Anyway, I didn't do it. Do I wanna play Knight E5 or Knight F6? Both are okay. I just want to develop my bishop. Does he want to take on G6 and destroy my pawn structure? Yes. Do I care? Maybe. Knight F4, Knight E5. Bishop d7, bishop takes. Okay, shouldn't care too much. Don't be scared, Anna. I could have played knight f4, but I didn't want to allow knight e5. Oh, g4 I think is a bit too much because it gives me this beautiful long diagonal. And knight f4 now is a lot stronger than it was earlier. Look at this move now. Ooh. Yeah, I like my position a lot. It's not only a piece up now, but also his king is weird. I can play bishop g2 and take on h3, and so I will. I have more time, a piece up, and after bishop takes h3, I'm winning another pawn. Although, if the rook goes to e1 and I play bishop takes h3, he can go f3, and my bishop is kinda trapped. He's threatening to attack it somehow. Not so easy to attack it. King g3, g5 I still have. But do I want this pawn so much? Maybe I don't. Maybe I shouldn't be greedy because bishop takes h3, f3. Okay, I shall calculate a little. g5, rook g3, threatening to take on h3, king g7, rook takes h3, knight takes, king takes. And then I'm just an exchange up. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be greedy because I decided that my bishop was not coming out of h3 and I was just not in time to bring my rook to the h file. But now that I have this other plan, I'm gonna carry it out. g5, protecting this f4 square forever for my knight, so I have an outpost. I don't mind trading this bishop because my real idea is king g7 and rook h8. Yes, he can take my bishop with the knight too. Let's pre-move, pre-move! No! Almost. Almost. We almost did it. Next move, rook h8. Okay, he wants to take my pawn on g5. That is nasty. I did not see that coming. Maybe I still shouldn't care. Let's not care. I'm gonna give it to him, because then I'm gonna take the h3 pawn. I believe. I'm sure I could have played better, more precise. By better, I mean more precise. Okay, now if I take with the rook, of course he wants to take my knight. So knight takes h3 is the main option. Will he play then rook h1? Ooh, I don't have time. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't have time. I don't know if this was a good move at all. Perhaps not. Rook takes e5. Yeah, what am I doing? Rook takes e5. What's going on here? Okay, I'm gonna take this first. What is going on? No one knows. At this point, no one knows what's going on. All I know is that I don't have time, and when I don't have time, I get nervous. I get real nervous. Was this a good move? Not sure. My pieces are funny. I'm attacking in a funny way. This should be mate somehow. Or not yet. Okay, maybe not yet. I'm just gonna take the pawn. It's free. Free stuff, and the other rook can come to the h file. I'm protecting the f7 square. I said I'm protecting it. You don't believe me. You don't believe me, do you? Pre-move! Pre-move! No. Didn't work. Thank you for the game, King Wang. I see that I already lost the game against you earlier. And you did fight very well. In time trouble, I go kinda crazy and I make mistakes, as you can realize. I'm not the kind of player that enjoys time troubles. So, it was all fine for black. I think this piece sacrifice, King Wang, is not good. Objectively, it shouldn't work because of the following reason. Knight takes g5, knight f6. I'm protecting the h7 square and I'm attacking your queen. Another way to play would have been after h takes g5, bishop takes d5, but what I was telling you guys that now I can take back with the pawn, and if knight takes g5, bishop f5, and I'm once again not getting mated. Hello, great stuff. So knight g5, after knight takes g5, h6, you gotta go back to f3. I know you felt like it's a loss of a tempo, but this is what it is. I'm undeveloped, so white is better here, slightly better, because I still need to care about this bishop on c8. I still need to develop it. Therefore, this position is better for white. Not much, but it's more pleasant. Don't sacrifice when you don't have to. Later, what happened in the game, that black is doing very well. Black should be winning. Black is completely winning. And then black started to be in time trouble. Here, first I thought I can win this pawn, but I was calculating the following. Bishop takes h3, f3 to protect the g4 pawn, g5, I want to play king g7 and rook h8. But I don't have time for it because white plays rook g3, and when I go king g7, rook takes h3, and yes, I'm still material up, so I could have played this if I wanted to, but now it's only an exchange up. And I want to be a piece up, not an exchange up, right? It's better to have a piece up. That's why I didn't take on h3. I go back now with the bishop. And it was looking all fine until I didn't see this idea of rook e5. If I had seen that move, maybe I would have prevented it. One way to prevent it would be this passive knight g6. Would I have played knight g6? It's kind of passive, but maybe it was okay to be passive because my plan, even though it's slow, it is working. White's pawn structure is fixed and he's got weak pawns on h3 and f3. So my idea is king g7, king g7, rook h8, and then I can either double rooks on the h file or play knight f4 once my rook is on h8. So I think even though knight g6 looks like passive, that was the safest move. I'm a piece up, so I don't need to give mate. Nothing happens if I don't give mate immediately. Knight g6 would have been a calm move that prepares black's idea, king g7, rook h8, and then doubling rooks or knight f4. In hindsight, I would have played that because in the game, there's some problems. Of course, it's a piece up, and of course, black should be winning, but I don't want to play king h6. I can, but what's going on now after h4? I can't take because of g5. Suddenly, there's counterplay for white out of the blue. If I play king g6, there's this very annoying check. And if, once again, the king goes to h6, then h4. Yeah, perhaps I can survive with rook g8 and such, because why would I be lost? I don't think my position can be lost, but my point is that I have given white counterplay when it was not needed. I was just a piece up and suddenly it wasn't so clear. And here, I was calculating the following. Knight takes h3. If the rook moves, I'm happy. But I thought he's not going to move the rook. He will just play rook h1. And when I take the rook, rook takes h8. Maybe it's okay. I can play knight g8 not to lose the rook on a8. Yeah, I could have played this, but I got scared. And in the other line, when the rook moves, there's also a problem now that the knight doesn't have a square. I can't go back to f4, I can't go to g5, and now he's threatening rook h1. So I think this whole idea with rook h8 giving up the g5 pawn was a mistake. And then I panicked. It happens to me when I don't have time on the clock. I push e5 and it's clearly a bad move, but I panicked. And I go e5. It doesn't change the position much. He can take on e5 and then my knight is still hanging. King Wang, I don't know why you didn't take the pawn on e5 immediately, because then I still can't take on h3. So e5 was just a bluff. It was a very bad bluff because rook takes e5 and black clearly has nothing. Yeah, I am still a piece up for now 2 pawns. But this position is not clear anymore. So e5 is a mistake, knight takes c6 is a mistake because it gives me time for an intermediate move, rook takes h3. And then it's a piece up. And I didn't flag myself. So that was the key. I think I have time for one more game. E5 rather than trading queens was winning on the spot, King Wang is telling me. Thank you, King Wang, for the comment on our game. Let me see, because I'm pretty sure you are right. I didn't play the most accurate. So I was telling you guys that it's good to trade queens, but perhaps I would. Yes, I must have had something stronger. Let's see. Was I okay? Here. Oh! Ouch! Trapping the queen. Okay, King Wang, you are completely right. You were completely right. E5 was winning the queen, I didn't realize. So my whole idea with queen f4 going queen g4, queen h4. I told you in other sessions, it's a mistake when you play a move and you know what's gonna happen next. I mean, you are ready to make the next move as well. So when I played queen f4, I am ready for him to move the knight and I'm gonna go queen g4 or queen h4. And it's a mistake. Of course you should have a plan, but also pay attention to what the opponent did. After knight f3, his queen has barely any space. So what you should do is and what you should do and what I should have done here was to re-evaluate the position. See that the queen on h3 is trapped and realize that e5 wins on the spot. Thank you, King Wang, for spotting it and for pointing it out for everyone. I'm gonna play our last game. Even before queen f4, you're saying? Oh, yeah, well, I'm not winning the queen, you're right. But I'm trading queens in a more forcing way. So apologies, I got overexcited about the almost trapped queen. It's not trapping the queen, but yes, I'm trading queens without even wasting a tempo on it, e5, and now I'm forcing him to trade. I can take on g3 or wait for him to take the queen. I can push e5 or just develop the bishop g4. So this position is clearly winning. I'm a piece up and very comfortable. You say here, yeah, here too it makes sense. But I think queen f4 and e5 was a good idea, yeah. Okay, last game, and I know many of you would like to play. I can only pick one player. I'm sorry about that, but I will be back after the World Championship match. I promise I will be back in December or end of November. But you know, the World Championship is a very long tournament. Challenge me with increment though. I can't accept challenges that have no increment. So I see so many of you challenging me for 5-minute blitz games. I can't accept that. I'm so sorry. I need increment. You see that I almost got flagged in this game too. And sometimes I see that you're challenging me for some custom game. I don't know what game you want to play. So a normal game would be appreciated. A normal game of chess. I'm gonna scroll up and down and try to pick as random as possible as soon as I see an increment. Okay, increment. This is a 3+2, but it's with increment. Dragon Emperor 333. Nice to meet you. If you are here, I'm gonna make my first move. E4. Surprisingly, my first move. Very rarely I did play d4 in my life, even when I competed. So it's not completely true that I always play e4, but most of the time. I just love e4 openings. The Najdorf, and I didn't pre-move. Have I made any pre-move today? I need to know. Have I made any? Oh, 5+2 is only possible if it's a custom challenge. I didn't know, Moritz. Thank you for the information. The Najdorf, and I'm gonna play the bishop e2 variation because you must have seen Sopika's video series, and that means that you know a lot about the Najdorf. And I don't want you to play the best moves. The Najdorf is a good defense. I feel like I always try to get some kind of a slight advantages vibe, but I often fail to. Because it's a very sound opening, the Najdorf. I wish I could play it myself, but I can't. Okay, with knight f3, I should go later for maneuvers. How shall I carry out my maneuvers actually? I'm gonna start with a4. That's usually a good idea. h6. I can play a5 too, but then knight c6, so I don't think it's time for that. It's time for me to play h3 as well if I want to play bishop h3 and not step into knight g4. And since this is 3+2, I should play much faster this game than the other ones. Can I do that? Not sure. I'll try, but I'm not sure. Okay. How shall I carry out the 9 maneuvers? There's knight d2 for instance, and bishop f3 and such. But then why did I play bishop e3? I'm confusing a little these lines. I haven't played it for ages. But one way is to move the knight away from f3, place the bishop on f3. So in this kind of a pawn structure, in this middle game, my focus as white is on the d5 square and the d6 backward pawn. I want to place a knight on d5 in a way that when I need to capture, when I need to take back, I would be able to take back with a piece. That's my dream. How can I do that? Lots of effort. The bishop on e3 is not helping because I would need to place my knight on e3. Knight, rook e1, knight f1, knight e3, knight d5 is one way of doing that. But with the bishop on e3, I can't do that. Maybe I'll just go... How should I do it? Still play rook e1, knight f1, queen d2, rook d1. Some slow maneuvering moves. This game, this kind of middle game is about lots of maneuvers, as you can see. If a5, let's see if he trades on c4. I wish I could just pre-move knight takes c4, but imagine he didn't play knight c4 and I play knight c4. Now that would have been a disaster, right? That would have been a disaster. I can play bishop b6 or knight a4 later, once I don't blunder my rook, right? I was about to look at the b6 square so much that I almost forgot about this hanging piece. Just a tiny detail, right? Bishop e2 to trade this bishop. Let's do that because his bishop is more active than mine. Shall we pre-move? Oh, I'm so slow pre-moving. Knight a4, if he takes on a5, bishop b6 traps the queen. Not yet because of queen b4. c3, the e4 pawn is hanging as well. What's going on there? Knight a4, queen takes a5. Knight b6 wins there, okay. But I'm giving up the e4 pawn. Oh, this is the problem about being so focused on one square. Anyway, let's say I sacrifice it. It wasn't a sacrifice. And he doesn't take it. He doesn't take it. Thank you so much. You are very kind. Knight b6 to attack the rook, and then I'm going to defend the e4 pawn. Whew, that was close. Yeah, the e4 pawn was hanging for nothing. So I had no follow-up. It was just hanging. Now that he didn't take it, I can defend it in a funny way by playing rook a4. And this rook is suddenly active. Look at my rook. I might play bishop c4 later and try to take on c4 with the rook, control the c file and annoy the black queen. Much better that my e4 pawn is still existing. It was not just about losing a pawn, it was about losing a central pawn. Center is so important, the center and the c4 pawn controlling the d5 square. So it would have been a pity to give it up for sure. Bye Dutch Defender, thank you so much for coming by. Chaz Pagel, I see that you are also saying bye. I'm trying to play against all of you guys next time. I will be back end of November or December after the World Championship. So please come by once I'm back from London. Knight d5, bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, queen takes c2. My bishop and my rook are hanging in that position. What's going on there? Bishop d1. Oh, no, I don't like that. Actually, he's not threatening anything, so don't panic and I just move the queen maybe. And then you can come with the rook. So he can't take here because of bishop b6. I can pre-move it, but he will never take on b6. Bishop c4 could be an idea too. Many moves, but queen d2 makes perfect sense to try to bring the other rook as well. Rook d1. Okay, knight c5. That I underestimated, but still. I don't really want to take this knight, so I'm gonna keep the rook on the 4th rank. Oh, I don't have time. Can he play d5? That's the question, because then my rook could be funny if the bishop is suddenly about to attack it with a discovered attack, d5, and then some knight jump. I think that would be the test, if he can play that. d5, gonna take it. It's either good or bad. How smart I am, right? But the rook on b4 is funny, so even if it was a pawn sacrifice, it might be worth it because of my funny rook. But next move I can play rook c4, so it's not gonna be that funny for him if I can pin the knight on c5, threaten b4. So I think after all d5 under these circumstances wasn't very good for black, and now I'm winning a piece. I'm winning this knight on c5, and there are no tricks because the rook is protected on c4. Thank you so much for the game, Dragon Emperor 333. I think it was a good fight. I thought the whole game... Well, okay, first of all, Don't believe my bluffs. What is this knight a4? I mean, excuse me, Anna, have you gone mad? Yes, you have. I almost blundered earlier in exchange, so after bishop c4, I was already so focused on this b6 square that I wanted to play knight a4. Bishop b6, okay, but knight a4 here? Excuse me? The rook is hanging. Yeah, then I realized it. And even like this, one move later, one move after I almost made a mistake, I commit the same mistake. I'm so focused on the b6 square. I so want to place my knight there that I forget about the rest of the board. I forget about the e4 pawn, which is depending on the c3 knight. Clear mistake. Like, how can you, Anna, forget about the e4 pawn? Knight a4 is a blunder. Dragon Emperor, you can just take on e4. I'm pretty sure I would have tried to do something like knight b6 and then some knight d5 maybe, but it shouldn't be anything. I'm missing my central pawn, and that's huge to miss that. So I can try to create something. I don't know, knight d5. But still, it shouldn't be much. Okay, maybe I've just managed to do something here, because at least I get the bishop. But anyway, it cannot work. It cannot be very good. Rook c6 then maybe. Knight d5, and I'm not threatening much. Yeah, you're just a pawn up. You can play f5, for instance. So it was a bluff. I mean, I didn't do it on purpose. I blundered the e4 pawn. And after you didn't take it, I was back in the game. And this rook on the 4th rank is annoying. d5, I was telling you, and the audience, of course, that it should be critical, whether it works or not. I didn't know if it works or not, so I didn't say it so that, ooh, then my opponent would play d5, and ooh, what a trick, it's a bad move. I didn't know if it's good or bad, so I just said that I think it is crucial to decide whether this move is good or bad, because if it works, then it's gonna work out very well for black because of my rook on b4. After he takes d5, here's the main question. Is there something concrete for black, or the pawn sacrifice wasn't so good? And if you have to play bishop f5, then I think it's bad, because rook c4 and I'm threatening b4. So the question, once again, is whether there's something instead of bishop f5. I don't really see anything concrete. You can't take on d5, you can't double very quickly on the d file either. Well, you can try to play rook d6. It's looking a bit weird, because I'm gonna play this move anyway. No, it's bad. I think then it's bad, because I don't see a follow-up. If there was a follow-up, let's say f5 threatening knight e4, I just want this rook to be hanging. That was my point, that in some positions it could be hanging. But if you play f5, I'm still going to play rook c4. And now if f4, I can take and then b4. So in all these positions, rook c4 ends up being a good move. You don't have time to win back the pawn. I think d5 in that case is a mistake. Not that it was an easy position. I think here it's already not so easy, because white has some pressure. Not winning, just slightly better for white. I would say it's a slightly better position for white. Thanks everyone who tuned in for today. And yeah, I just can't look at the chat all the time. I was trying to simply be as instructive as possible, talking to you about my thoughts during the game, why I play, which move, what is the plan, what's the strategy. Banter Blitz from me on Chess24 is about being as instructive as possible, as I mentioned. If you want to ask me all sorts of chess or non-chess questions, please see me on my Twitch channel, because that's where I just hang out with you guys and we talk about everything from dog breeds to which pizzas who likes and what's gonna happen in London during the World Championship match. So chess and non-chess and chocolate. I was going to say chocolate. Chocolate is one of my favorite words and favorite things to eat in the world. I talk about all this on my Twitch channel, so please come and see me on my Twitch channel when I stream. If you subscribe, you will get a notification the moment I go live. It's twitch.tv/AnnaChess. Anna_chess or Anna Chess. Just search on Twitch if it's Anna Chess or Anna_chess, because I don't know my own channel. But yeah, you can find me there when I stream. And as I said, if you're subscribed, you get an email notification. Today my pronunciation is suffering a little. Haven't rapped enough today. So yeah, that's where I answer all those kind of questions. It's Twitch. It's called Twitch, and it's a platform like YouTube. If you don't know it, then I'm gonna write it in the chat, my Twitch channel. And it's been a pleasure, as usual. Make sure to stay tuned for the World Championship broadcast. As I said, this lovely lady, Sofika Gormishvili, will be commentating for Chess 24 together with Peter Svidler. And I'll be in London. If you are in London, come by and say hi. See you in London on my Twitch channel or after the World Championship. This has been Anna Rudolf, Banter Blitz with Miss Strategy. Bye bye.